1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here we go. Welcome to episode 9 of the Catalyst Podcast. My name is Jason. It's raw, it's real, it's unedited. Now you can find Catalyst at Catalyst Motivation on Facebook, at Catalyst Motivation 561 on YouTube, and Catalyst Motivation 561 on Instagram. A catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that's what this podcast will do. We'll talk about the catalyst, the turning point, the journey, the lesson, and beyond. Welcome to episode 9. So we were in the middle on episode 8, talking about being home, and my wife just asked me if I was having an affair. Talked about it was a Mother's Day weekend that she found this text that was from 10 years previously. And it was about me saying, hey, listen, I want to hang out with a friend who was kind of a crush in high school. And it was a message for her to get her and her cousin who, we were all three of us were close, just to hang out. I didn't want anybody else to know. But she took that as me having an affair. And any time that we did go up to Pennsylvania, whether together as a family or by myself, I was having an affair with this woman. And she asked me for a divorce again. So here I am, first round of chemo, get this news, go through all this process, and get the chemo, coming back feeling frail, broken, and she takes this as an opportunity to ask for a divorce, to look for a reason to ask for a divorce. And it wasn't even a really good reason. But like I said, I mean, I wasn't the greatest husband. I really wasn't. But the timing of what she did and how she did it was unbelievable. If you remember, there was John Edwards, who was trying to run for president, and he had an affair with his wife. I even brought that up. I go, this is just like the Edwards thing. Are you serious? This is the moment you feel is the best time to bring this up. I would never do this to you. And I honestly wouldn't. I really, really wouldn't. In her mind, it didn't matter. You know what? She said life goes on. So we're going to get a divorce. And I just remember there were a few low points during this journey in cancer. That was definitely one of them. I just remember sitting there and just losing it. Are you fucking kidding me? This is the time you feel is the right time to bring this up and talk about this. Wow, it was a really, really dark place. And I could have went dark. Very, very dark. At that point. But I didn't. I put up these walls, and I became laser focused on, you know what? This is your fight and your journey. Now, other people may have people to help them through it. And I did. But this was my mindset. You're going to have to go through this alone. In fact, there's been many other times that you've been in your life where you felt like this and you've had to go through it alone. So, you know what? To get through this, you're going to have to be absolutely selfish and tell everybody to fuck off. And you're going to have to focus and do the things you need to do to get yourself healthy. Don't worry about all of these other things that are going on with my job and the manager of my place, or the place that I was working with, the place that I was at, which was a dump. I went back to a dump. What's going on right now with my wife? You got to focus on you. So that's what I did. That's what I did. It hurt for a while. In fact, it still hurts because it feels like such a cruel thing to do. I see her point. Again, like I said, I was not a good husband. And in fact, I don't feel in a lot of ways like I'm a good friend. I'm a good father. I'm a good son. I wasn't a good husband. Um, and I'm working through that. I'm still working through that. And I brought up a couple episodes earlier about a men's group that I was with from the couples group, and they were very, very key. And staying with them and sticking with them, even when I was in the hospital and we were having the meetings, and they would put me on the phone, and we were going through this book. It's a workbook, the 7 Pillars. It is absolutely fantastic. It was one of the keys for me to kind of dig deep and be brutally honest with myself and be real. And it helped me with being laser focused as well. So, we have all of these things starting to stack up, and the job and the attitude with the job, and my wife, and now there's with 1 week of missing money, what do we do with that? And so all these things are stacking up, and then my health, we had blood clots. At night I would stop breathing. I had a mini TIA, a stroke. All of these things. Any one of them could have just, kicked me in the ass and, made me want to quit. But I didn't. I didn't. I remember I just go back to the lady who was, in the other room screaming that she wanted to die. And then I go to that young girl who was like, I know I'm going to die, but I'm going to live every moment. And that's what it was for me. It was like, no, I need to find out who I am right now. You only get things put in front of you that God thinks you can handle. And if God thinks you can handle it, then there's nothing you can't do. And I just remember I would have these, YouTube videos with Eric Thomas. God, I love Eric Thomas. He is awesome. He is so awesome. And some of these motivational things, and remember using that as tools when I would be walking, or working out, and trying to get myself healthy and stuff like that. I just remember going through all that. And it was, the whole asking for a divorce, the thing kind of officially cut me off from her. Like that was it. I was done with this relationship. I'm just going to focus on me and what I need to do to get healthy. And one of the big things, one of the things I put up as something ahead of me to kind of push me forward was, and that's why I bring up Eric Thomas. He was one of the key people that I would listen to. What is your why? You got to have a reason. You got to have a reason to do what you do. What is your why? What gets you up every morning? That was my son. It was my son. I don't want my son to go through what I went through. I didn't want him to go through divorce. I didn't want him to be, feel that my father abandoned me. I mean, my birth father did. but not the man I call my father. He was isolated and blocked. He wanted to be with me. He wanted to have that relationship, and unfortunately, that didn't happen. So my why was I want to be a father, and I want to be there for my father, and I want to see him graduate high school, and see him go to college, and see him have a family, get married and have a kid. I want to be there for those moments where it wasn't there for me. And every day, no matter how dizzy I got walking or dizzy I got in the gym, and I would be in the gym alone. Being in the hospital changed my my body patterns. I used to be a night owl. I'd stay up till all hours of the night. But being in the hospital, they would draw blood like at 4 or 5 in the morning. We're not going to try and wake you up, but here comes the lights, and we're going to stick you and stuff. And speaking of that, there was this one lady who came in who would draw the blood early in the morning. And she had this tight bond and everything. And the first couple of times she came in, she would just be jabbing me, sticking me, and just like, oh, this is horrible. And so I went to the nurse, and the doctor says, there's something they can do. They go, well, they can use your PICC line. And so I remember saying that, and she's like, no, we can't. We got to do it this way. And so just like, if you don't like what you do, don't do it. This was one of those people. And I remember it was one night, here she comes, and I wake up and I go, listen, this is going to happen one way. You're going to use this PICC line, or you're not taking the blood at all. And she's like, well, I can't use the PICC line. I go, well, you're not doing it, so you can leave. And I closed my eyes, and she started to stick me. I go, if you stick me, I'm going to throw you through that fucking window. And she did it. And I grabbed it and knocked it out, and she just slapped the Band-Aid on it. Like she was like trying to fight with me. There was like this altercation going on. I go, you're not fucking sticking me. Finally, the nurse comes in. She sees like there's blood rushing out of my arm and everything. Like, what the hell are you doing? I told her. I asked her to use the PICC line. She didn't want to use the PICC line. And now she's trying to stab me. I told her to get the fuck out of here. I don't want her to do my blood. That's it. I never saw that woman again. She kind of disappeared. It was very crazy. But those are some of the things you have to deal with. And so getting back in, where the hell was I? I just remember distinctly that woman. She was horrible. Absolutely horrible. I've been poked and prodded thousands of times, and when you know what you're doing, it's a wonderful thing. Because sometimes you don't even feel it. That's one of the things I had to deal with that. But dealing with all of these other pieces, right? The blood clot and the apnea. I remember the first time the apnea ever happened, and there was like a team that came in. There's like 30, 40 people that came in. And I'm like what? What's going on? What's going on? Well, you stop. Everything stopped on you. I said when my breathing stopped, I guess it stopped the heart for a bit. It's they would come in and be like all, like just double checking me out. So, let's end this episode. We'll see you on the next episode. This is Jason. Thank you for listening to the Catalyst Podcast. Catalyst has the power to create change, and we hope that this podcast will do that. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you on the next episode. Go be great.